Welcome back, survivors. Before the story starts, tap subscribe and comment where you're tuning in from. I'm dropping another story tomorrow, and you'll want to catch it first. This is Frequency Zero. I'm not here to save you, and 72 hours ago, the dead started walking. But I have proof they've been walking for 3 years, and you've been listening to them. My name is Dr. Saira Chen, and if you're hearing this broadcast, you're already infected. Not with a virus, with a frequency. Every word I speak is converting your brain into a receiver. The infected aren't mindless, they're building something with the bodies. And the worst part, I just found my own name in the files. Subject 0. I was the first test. Now I have 48 hours before they find me, and I need you to understand. The outbreak didn't start 3 days ago. It started the moment you pressed play. The news said 3 days. The government said 72 hours. But I'm sitting in an abandoned subway tunnel beneath the city, staring at security footage that shows the infected walking 2 weeks before the first emergency alert. Not stumbling, not confused. Walking in formation. The air down here tastes like copper and ozone. My broadcasting equipment hums against the tile wall, powered by a jury-rigged connection to the subway's emergency grid. Every few minutes the lights flicker. Every few minutes I hear something moving in the tunnels beyond my barricade. Dragging footsteps, wet breathing. They haven't found me yet, but they will. I've been documenting everything since the outbreak began, or since they told us it began. The timeline doesn't make sense. 3 days ago, people started tearing each other apart in the streets. Hospitals overflowed. The military rolled in with flamethrowers. Standard apocalypse protocol, except I have proof it's all theater. Listen to this. Plays audio clip, dated 2 weeks before outbreak. Neural patterns destabilizing in subjects 7 through 12. Recommend immediate quarantine. Negative. Dr. Voss says continue observation. Subjects are exhibiting static burst. That recording came from the company where I used to work, Neurodynamics Incorporated. I was their lead researcher on collective consciousness mapping until I got fired 3 years ago for asking too many questions about our funding sources. They called me paranoid, unstable. They escorted me out with security and erased my access. Turns out I wasn't paranoid enough. Because last night, while scavenging through an abandoned office building, I found a file server still running on backup power. And inside it, I found footage. Not from 3 days ago. From 3 years ago. Surveillance video from sub-level research labs I didn't even know existed. People strapped to tables. Electrodes covering their skulls. Screens showing brain activity syncing between subjects like a heartbeat. And standing over them, watching with fascination, was my former colleague, Dr. Emil Voss. The same Dr. Voss who died in a car accident 18 months ago. Except he's not dead, he's in those files. Dated 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Working on something called Project Frequency. I need you to understand what I'm telling you. This outbreak didn't happen by accident. It didn't mutate in some wet market or leak from a damaged lab. It was deployed. The infected aren't victims of a virus, they're running a program. A frequency that rewrites neural tissue. And the company I worked for built it. The lights just flickered again. Longer this time. I can hear them now, closer than before. Multiple sets of footsteps echoing through the tunnel. They're not running, they're walking. Methodical. Like they know exactly where I am. I have 48 hours of battery life left, maybe less. I'm going to use every second to expose what happened, to find Voss. To understand why my name keeps appearing in files labeled Subject 0, because I think I was the first test. And I think I'm the only reason I'm still thinking clearly. This is Frequency 0. If you're still human, stay on this frequency. If you're not, I know you're listening too. What would you have done? Found proof the apocalypse was planned, would you broadcast it or stay silent? He made a mistake. I left the tunnel. 40 minutes ago I told myself I just needed to see them, to confirm what I suspected. But standing here now, watching what they're doing in the street 3 blocks from my broadcast site, I realize I don't understand anything. The infected aren't wandering, they're working. The air above ground hits different than the stale recycled oxygen below. It smells like gasoline and rot, thick enough to taste. Broken glass crunches under my boots with every step too loud, too exposed. carrying my portable recorder, a flashlight duct taped to my shoulder, and a wrench I found in a maintenance closet. Not exactly a weapon, more like a prayer. The street is empty. Cars abandoned mid-escape, doors hanging open like broken jaws. A coffee shop on the corner still has its lights on, running on backup power. Through the window, I can see a body slumped over a table, coffee cup still in hand. They never saw it coming. But ahead, in the intersection, that's where everything changes. 17 infected. I counted them twice. They're standing in a geometric formation. Not a circle, not random, a spiral. Each one positioned exactly equidistant from the next, their bodies swaying slightly, heads tilted at the same angle. And in the center, they've built something. Body parts, arms, legs, torsos stacked and arranged into a structure that rises 8 feet high, glistening wet in the streetlight. It looks organic but deliberate, like a tower, like an antenna. I'm recording this. My hand is shaking so badly the footage will be useless, but I need proof. One of them turns its head, not toward me, toward the structure. Its mouth opens, and sound comes out, a low, rhythmic moan that pulses in waves. Then the next one joins, then another. Within seconds, all 17 are vocalizing in perfect synchronization. It's not random noise. I pull out my frequency analyzer, the one I used to use for neural mapping research. The device picks up electromagnetic patterns, brainwave signatures. I aim it at the infected. The screen lights up. Jesus Christ. They're broadcasting, not sound EM radiation, a specific frequency pulsing from their bodies like a beacon. And the structure they built, it's amplifying it, sending the signal outward in concentric waves. My analyzer beeps, warning, pattern detected, matching frequency database. A name appears on screen. Neural Override Protocol, VOS, E. My former colleague's work. His frequency. A scraping sound behind me. Close. Too close. I spin around. An infected woman stands 15 feet away, her hospital gown torn, dried blood crusted around her mouth. But she's not looking at me. She's looking past me, at the structure. Her head tilts at the exact same angle as the others. Then she starts walking, not toward me, toward the formation. She joins the spiral, finds her position, opens her mouth. The frequency spikes on my analyzer. 18 now. They're not hunting. They're gathering. I back away slowly, keeping my recorder running. My heart is slamming against my ribs, so hard it hurts. Every instinct screams to run, but I force myself to move slowly, deliberately. Don't trigger the chase response, don't. My boot hits a bottle. The glass skitters across asphalt. 18 heads turn in perfect unison. They don't charge, they don't scream, they just stop. Stop moving, stop moaning, complete silence. And then I hear it, underneath the silence, a whisper. Barely audible, but coming from all of them at once, synchronized. Subject 0 returning. I run. I don't stop running until I'm back in the tunnel, my lungs burning, my hands trembling so badly I can barely lock the barricade behind me. The recorder is still running. I play back the last 10 seconds. That whisper. Clear as day. They said my designation. They know who I am. The infected are building something. Should Saira keep investigating or go dark? I'm not alone. 20 minutes ago, while I was reviewing the footage from the street, my equipment picked up a signal, not the infected frequency, something else, a data burst, encrypted, targeted directly at my broadcast location. Someone knows I'm here. The tunnel suddenly feels smaller, the shadows deeper. I killed the main lights and switched to my red emergency lamp, less visible from a distance, but it turns everything into a crime scene. Blood-colored walls, dark water pooling between the tracks, my breath visible in the cold air. My decryption software is running. The progress bar crawls across the screen, 23%, 34%. Each percentage point feels like an eternity. My hand hovers over the power switch. I could shut everything down right now, go dark, disappear into the tunnels and never broadcast again. But I need to know. 67%, 78%. A sound echoes from somewhere in the tunnel system. Metal on metal, rhythmic, like someone tapping a pipe. 3 taps, pause, 3 taps, pause. It stops. 5.0 5.0. The screen flashes. Decryption complete. A video file opens. Low resolution. Security camera footage. The timestamp reads 3 weeks ago. The location tag makes my stomach drop. Neurodynamics Incorporated. Sublevel 7. The camera shows a server room. Rows of black towers humming with activity. And standing in front of a terminal downloading files onto a drive is a man in a security uniform. Dark skin, late 30s. He keeps glancing at the door like he's expecting someone. Then he looks directly at the camera. Holds up a piece of paper. Dr. Chen, if you're seeing this, you need to call me, Marcus. Below it, a frequency number. The video cuts to another clip. Same man. Different location. This time he's in what looks like a bunker. Concrete walls. Emergency lighting. He's speaking directly to camera. Saira, if that's really you broadcasting, I worked security at Neurodynamics for 6 years. I knew something was wrong. I started copying files 8 months ago. Everything. Research logs. Test results. Executive communications. It's all here. He holds up a hard drive. But you need to understand something. They knew about you. There's an entire division dedicated to tracking Subject Zero. They called it Recovery Protocol. Whatever they did to you 3 years ago, they're not done. Static burst. When it clears, his face is closer to camera. More urgent. I'm at Grid Station 47, Northeast Sector. I have evidence about what they're planning, but Sarah, he looks off camera at something. Fear crosses his face. They're already changing. The infected. I've seen them communicate. Coordinate. Yesterday I watched 6 of them dismantle a car in under 2 minutes. Not for food. For parts. They're building. The video cuts to black. A new text message appears on my screen. Still there, M. My fingers hover over the keyboard. Every rational part of my brain says this is a trap. The company I worked for wouldn't just leave a helpful security guard alive with all their secrets. But the files he's offering, if they're real. I type, how do I know you're real? The response is immediate. You don't. But I know you are. You had a mole on your left shoulder blade. Removed 3 years ago. Medical records say benign. But the biopsy report I found? They implanted something. A tracking chip? A receiver? I don't know. But they've been watching you this whole time. My hand instinctively reaches for my shoulder blade. There's a scar there. Small. I'd forgotten about it. Another message. The infected at the intersection. The spiral formation. I've seen 12 more just like it across the city. They're creating a network. Saira, they're not building antennas. They're building nodes for a transmission grid. The tunnel lights flicker. Once, twice, then steady. A final message. You have 36 hours before the grid goes active. Meet me at Grid Station 47, or stay in your hole and wait for them to find you. The screen goes dark. In the silence, I hear it again. 3 taps on metal, closer this time. Then 3 more, from the opposite direction. Would you have trusted Marcus? A stranger with files, or a company trap? I remember the day I lost 14 hours. 3 years ago. I thought it was just exhaustion. The company had me working double shifts on the neural mapping project. I'd been running on coffee and spite for weeks. So when I woke up in the medical bay with a splitting headache and no memory of how I got there, I believed them when they said I'd collapsed. They were so convincing. I'm staring at the files Marcus sent. 23 documents, 47 video clips, all labeled with the same designation. Subject 0, Chen, Sarah. My hands won't stop shaking. The first file is a medical report, dated exactly 3 years ago, the day I collapsed. Poster summary. Neural interface implantation successful. Subject remained unconscious throughout. Implant positioned at C7 vertebrae junction. Biocompatibility markers nominal. Subject 0 exhibits optimal reception threshold. Proceeding to phase 1 activation. I can't breathe. The tunnel walls are pressing in. There's a high-pitched ringing in my ears that won't stop. They put something inside me. The next file is video footage. Operating room. Bright lights. I'm face down on a table, the back of my neck exposed. Dr. Voss stands over me, holding something small and metallic. It pulses with voice recorded, neural receiver online. Beginning frequency calibration. Subject 0 will serve as the primary template for mass deployment. If her brain adapts successfully, we can proceed to civilian testing. The camera zooms in as he inserts the device beneath my skin. I watch my own body twitch, watch the monitors spike, watch Voss smile. I slam the laptop shut. My stomach heaves. Nothing comes up I haven't eaten in 18 hours, but the nausea won't stop. A sound pulls me back. Water dripping. No, not dripping. Footsteps. In water. I grab my flashlight, sweep it across the tunnel. Nothing. Just darkness and the distant echo of the city dying above me. Focus. Read the files. Understand what they did. I force myself to open the next document. It's a progress report. Written by Voss himself. Subject 0, day 90. Chen continues to exhibit no conscious awareness of the implant. Her neural patterns have fully adapted to the carrier frequency. She reports occasional headaches and auditory sensitivity, which we've attributed to workplace stress. Psychological evaluation shows increased paranoia and questioning of project ethics, expected side effect of frequency exposure. Recommend termination of employment to isolate subject and monitor long-term stability. That's why they fired me. Not because I was asking questions, because I was responding to the signal they put inside me. Another file. This one makes my blood freeze. Outbreak protocol. Subject 0 contingency. In the event of mass deployment, Subject 0 must remain conscious and mobile. Her neural pattern serves as the baseline frequency for all infected subjects. She is not immune, she is the source. All infected biosignatures trace back to her implant. She will experience no symptoms because she is the carrier, not the victim. Recovery protocol. If Subject 0 attempts to broadcast or expose project, activate her implant remotely. She will be drawn to nearest collection node. Assimilation into primary network is inevitable. I read it 3 times, 4 times. The words don't change. I'm not immune. I'm the reason everyone is infected. Every person shambling through the streets. Everybody stacked into those spiral formations. Every mind being uploaded into Voss's network. They're all infected because of the signal coming from inside my skull. I'm not a survivor. I'm patient 0. The ringing in my ears gets louder. I realize now it's not tinnitus. It's the implant. It's been broadcasting this entire time. Every second I've been alive, I've been spreading the frequency. My radio equipment crackles, static, then a voice, distorted but unmistakable. Voss. Hello, Saira. Took you long enough to read the files. I've been waiting for you to understand. You've been calling yourself Frequency 0, but you never realized how accurate that was. You're not investigating the outbreak. You are the outbreak. And now that you know, it's time to come home. The tunnel lights die, complete darkness. In the silence I hear them. Dozens of footsteps, splashing through water, coming from both directions. The laptop screen glows. Implant activation. Subject 0 recovery in progress. I have maybe 60 seconds before they reach me. Marcus's location flashes in my mind. Grid Station 47, Northeast Sector. I grab my bag, my recorder, leave everything else, and I run into the dark. Saira is the source of the infection. Should she keep running or end the signal herself? Grid Station 47 is a tomb. I'm standing in the doorway, chest heaving, lungs burning from the 2-mile sprint through service tunnels. The station is dark except for a single emergency light casting long shadows across rows of server racks. The hum of electronics fills the space like breathing. Marcus? My voice echoes. Nothing responds. I step inside. Water drips somewhere in the darkness. My flashlight beam cuts through dust particles suspended in stale air. There's a desk in the center, monitors still running, displaying code I don't recognize. A coffee cup sits beside the keyboard. Still warm. He was just here. Then I see it, on the wall behind the monitors, written in something dark, something wet. Not Marcus. Never was. My blood goes cold. The monitors flicker, all of them simultaneously. The code disappears, replaced by a video feed, security camera footage, but not from here, from my tunnel, my broadcast location. The timestamp reads 12 minutes ago. I watch myself on screen, grabbing my bag, running, and behind me, emerging from the shadows, a figure in a security uniform. He's carrying my backup hard drive, the one with all my research. He unplugs my equipment methodically. Then he looks directly at the camera. Marcus. Except his eyes are wrong. Clouded, dilated, the same look I've seen on every infected in the streets. The video cuts to another angle. Marcus sitting at a terminal, typing. His fingers move too fast. Inhuman. The screen shows my location data, my broadcast frequencies. Everything I've been transmitting for 3 days. And he's uploading it, sending it somewhere. A new video feed opens. This one is live, real time. It shows me, standing in grid station 47, right now. The camera is behind me. I spin around. The doorway is empty. But high in the corner, a security camera blinks red, watching. The monitors speak with Voss's voice, not from speakers, from all of them. Layered, echoing. Did you really think we'd let a security guard become a liability? Marcus died 4 weeks ago. Heart attack. Very tragic. But his body, still useful. We've been using him to guide you. To feed you information. To make you feel like you had an ally. You performed beautifully, Saira. Every broadcast, every file you opened, every step you took. You led us exactly where we needed you to go. My hands clench around the flashlight. Where? Right here. The floor vibrates. A low rumble from somewhere below. The server racks begin to hum louder, synchronizing into a single tone. Voss continues. Grid station 47 isn't a power station. It's a relay node, and you've just activated it by entering with your implant. Subject 0 is the key, Saira. You unlock the network. Every infected in the city is now receiving the calibration signal. In 6 hours, the transformation completes. The Cochlea goes live. What the hell is the Cochlea? The final stage. We named it after the part of your ear that converts sound into neural signals. Appropriate, don't you think? The Cochlea is where consciousness goes, where every infected mind will be uploaded, preserved, unified. A distributed network of human thought spanning the entire city. No more conflict. No more suffering. Just perfect synchronization. The monitors display a map, the city, dozens of red dots marking infected formations, and at the center a massive structure I don't recognize, underground, beneath the old industrial district. The Cochlea, neural convergence point. You have a choice, Voss says. Come to the Cochlea, see what we've built, understand what humanity is becoming, or stay here and wait for the signal to pull you in anyway. Your implant is already resonating with the network. You can feel it, can't you? That pressure behind your eyes, that ringing that won't stop. You're being called home. He's right. The ringing is getting louder. My vision blurs at the edges. The monitors go black except for one. It shows coordinates, a route through the tunnels, leading to the Cochlea. And below it, 36 hours until convergence. A sound behind me. Footsteps. Multiple. I turn. Marcus stands in the doorway. But he's not alone. 12 infected, all wearing neurodynamic security uniforms, all staring at me with those clouded eyes. Marcus's mouth moves, but the voice is Voss. Welcome to the family, Subject 0. Let me show you what you helped create. They don't attack. They just stand there, waiting. Behind them, the tunnel stretches into darkness. My only escape route. The Cochlea coordinates burn on the screen. I have to choose. Marcus was infected all along. The Cochlea is active. Should Saira go deeper or find another way? I'm going deeper. Not because I want to. Because the ringing won't stop. Because my legs are moving on their own, pulling me toward the coordinates on that screen. Because some part of me, the part with Voss's implant buried in my spine, wants to go. I slipped past Marcus and his security detail through a maintenance shaft. They didn't chase me, they just watched. Like they knew I'd end up at the Cochlea anyway. Maybe they're right. The tunnels this deep are old. Pre-war infrastructure. Concrete walls weeping moisture. Rusted pipes overhead dripping something that smells like chemicals and decay. My flashlight beam barely penetrates the darkness. Every 20 feet, I pass another spiral formation. smaller than the ones above ground. Personal, intimate, single bodies, positioned on their knees, arms raised, fingers interlocked above their heads, creating small antenna arrays with their own flesh. They're still breathing, chests rising and falling in perfect rhythm, synchronized. I count 17 of them before I stop counting. The tunnel slopes downward. The air grows colder, thicker. That ozone smell intensifies like standing too close to power lines. The ringing in my skull shifts frequency, lower, pulsing, almost like a heartbeat. Then I see the first structure. It's massive, filling the entire tunnel intersection, 20 feet tall, built entirely from bodies. But not random, not chaotic. This is intentional. Engineering. The infected have woven themselves together, arms linked through rib cages, spines curved and fused into support beams, skulls positioned at precise angles, forming junction points. Their bodies are still alive. I can see muscle tissue pulsing, veins carrying blood through the network. But they're not people anymore. They're components. I step closer. My recorder is running, but my hands are shaking too badly to keep the frame steady. The structure hums, not with sound, with electricity. I can feel it on my skin. Static raising the hairs on my arms. My implant resonates in response, a sharp pain at the base of my skull that makes me gasp. One of the bodies opens its eyes, clouded white, but aware. Its mouth moves, closer now, almost home. Not its voice, Voss's voice, coming from a throat that shouldn't be able to speak. I back away. My boot splashes in standing water. The sound echoes. Every eye in the structure opens simultaneously. Dozens of heads turn toward me with mechanical precision. Subject 0, they say in unison. The Cochlea is waiting. I run. The tunnel narrows, curves left. The walls are changing, less concrete, more organic. Are those roots? No. Veins. Thick cables of vascular tissue growing through cracks in the infrastructure, pulsing with that same electrical rhythm. The path opens into a chamber. Subway platform, but transformed. The walls are covered, floor to ceiling. Bodies pressed into the concrete like relief sculptures. Some still wearing clothes, wedding rings, watches, evidence of who they used to be. Now they're part of the architecture. Their skin has fused with the surface. Eyes open, watching, breathing as one. In the center of the platform, a staircase descends. But the stairs aren't stone, they're bone. Vertebrae stacked and fused, ribs forming railings. The skeletal structure gleams wet in my flashlight beam. A sign above the staircase. Hand-painted, fresh. The Cochlea, sub-level Omega, welcome home. The ringing becomes a roar. My vision tunnels. The implant is pulling me forward. Every step feels less like choice and more like compulsion. I disowned. The bone stairs are warm under my hands. They pulse, like they have a heartbeat. 30 steps down, 50. The air grows warmer, humid. The smell shifts from ozone to something organic, amniotic. The staircase ends at a door, massive, industrial, but covered in that same vascular tissue. It's breathing. The door is breathing. Words are carved into the metal beneath the growth. Neurodynamics, sub-level Omega, authorized personnel only. The facility I never knew existed. The place where it all began. The door isn't locked. It opens with a wet sound, like tearing flesh. Beyond it, light, not electric, bioluminescent, blue-green, pulsing, and sound. Thousands of voices, whispering in perfect harmony. The Cochlea. I step through. The infected are building a living structure. Saira is at the threshold. What horror waits inside the Cochlea? The Cochlea isn't a room. It's a cathedral. The chamber stretches impossibly wide, larger than any structure should exist this deep underground. The walls curve upward into darkness, lined with thousands of alcoves, and in each alcove, a body, suspended in translucent membrane, connected by cables of living tissue that pulse with electrical current. They're not dead. Their eyes move beneath closed lids. REM sleep, dreaming, or uploading. The floor beneath me isn't concrete. It's soft, yielding, made of interwoven neural tissue that shifts with each step like I'm walking on a brain. The bioluminescent light comes from the membrane itself, thousands of bodies glowing like candles in a church. In the center of the chamber, a tower rises, 30 feet tall, built from servers and flesh merged into one. Cables snake from the technology into the walls, into the ceiling, into every suspended body. The tower hums with power that makes my teeth ache. And at its base, a figure sits in a chair made of bone and wire. Dr. Emil Voss, but not the man I remember. His skin is pale, translucent. I can see veins beneath the surface glowing with that same blue-green light. Cables emerge from his spine, his skull, his chest, connecting him directly to the tower. His eyes are open but unfocused, staring at something I can't see. Then all at once, everybody in the chamber opens its eyes. Thousands of voices speak simultaneously. One consciousness, one mind. Sarah, you came. It's Voss's voice, but coming from everywhere. From the bodies in the walls, from the membrane, from the tower itself. I force words through my constricted throat. What did you do? I evolved. The bodies gesture in unison, a wave of movement rippling through the chamber. 3 years ago I was dying. Cancer. 6 months to live. But I realized something. The body fails, but consciousness doesn't have to. Neural patterns can be preserved, copied, distributed across multiple substrates. I didn't want to die, Sarah. So I built a place where death doesn't exist. The figure in the chair stands. Cables stretch but don't disconnect. Voss, or what's left of him, walks toward me. His movements are fluid, too fluid, like he's being puppeted. The Cochlea is a neural network. Every person here is a node. Their consciousness uploaded, their memories preserved, their thoughts synchronized into one perfect collective. No loneliness, no fear, no conflict, just unity. You're killing them, I say. My hands clench into fists. Those are people. They're transcending. 100 bodies smile in unison, and you made it possible. Subject 0. Your neural pattern was the key. We tested hundreds of subjects before you. All rejected the frequency. Their brains couldn't adapt, but your consciousness resonated perfectly. You became the carrier wave, the foundation frequency that all others could sync to. The ringing in my skull spikes. Pain shoots down my spine. I drop to one knee. You feel it, Voss says. Your implant connecting to the network. You're not separate from us, Saira. You never were. You're the bridge between individual and collective. The translator. Without you, the frequency is just noise. With you, it becomes consciousness. The membrane walls pulse faster. The bodies in the alcoves twitch, their mouths open, and they speak my thoughts before I think them. Why me? Voss's smile spreads across 1,000 faces. Because you were already searching for connection. Your research, mapping collective consciousness. You wanted to understand how minds could merge. I simply gave you the answer. And now, you get to see it completed. He gestures to the tower. A screen descends, displaying a map of the city. Red dots spreading like infection. Each dot a formation, each formation a node. In 24 hours, the network reaches critical mass. Every infected mind uploads simultaneously. The Cochlea becomes permanent. Humanity too. And you, Subject 0, will be at the center. The eternal bridge. The constant frequency that holds us all together. I won't do it. I struggle to stand. I'll destroy the implant, cut it out, end the signal. Everybody in the chamber laughs. The sound is deafening. You can't. Voss's physical form touches my shoulder. His hand is cold. The implant is fused with your C7 vertebra. Remove it, you sever your spinal cord, you die. And the moment your heart stops, the network activates automatically. Your final neural pattern becomes the template. Death or life, either way, you complete the work. My legs give out. I collapse onto the neural tissue floor. It pulses beneath me like a heartbeat. There's no escape, the 1,000 voices whisper. You were always going to end up here. We've been calling you home since the moment you left 3 years ago. The bodies reach toward me. Cables extend from the walls. And I realize, he's right. Voss is the network. Saira is the bridge. Is there any choice left, or was it always inevitable? There's always a choice. The voice comes from behind me. Not Voss, not the network. Human, singular. I turn my head, difficult with cables already beginning to reach for my skin, and see a figure emerging from a maintenance passage. Hazmat suit, helmet visor cracked. Moving with the exhaustion of someone who's been running for days. The figure removes the helmet. It's a woman, early 50s, gray hair, face covered in chemical burns, but her eyes are clear, unclouded, alive. Dr. Iris Volkov, she says, former lead engineer on Project Frequency. I built the implant in your spine. She looks at Voss at the tower with disgust. And I've spent 3 years trying to undo what I created. The 1,000 bodies shift. Voss's voice carries irritation. Iris, you should be dead. The lab fire. I said it. She pulls a device from her suit. Cylindrical, covered in switches and crude wiring, burned half the research, destroyed the backup servers. But I couldn't stop you. You'd already copied yourself into the network. She looks at me. But I can stop the expansion, and you're the key. My throat is dry. How? Iris moves closer. The cables recoil from her suit, some kind of interference shielding. Your implant broadcasts the carrier frequency, but it's also a receiver. It can accept new patterns, rewrite them. I've mapped 3 possible outcomes, 3 ways this ends. None of them are good. She activates the device. A holographic display projects into the air. 3 options. Option 1. Shut down the signal. The display shows my implant going dark. I trigger an electromagnetic pulse directly into your spine, fries the implant, kills the carrier frequency. Every infected person immediately loses connection to the network. They'd be free, I say. They'd be trapped. Iris's face hardens. Their consciousness is already halfway uploaded. Shut down the signal and you strand them between states. Aware they're in rotting bodies, remembering every person they've killed, every horrible thing they've done, millions of minds in psychological torment with no way to die. Just endless suffering. The chamber fills with whispers, the infected in the walls stirring. They understand. Option 2. Complete the upload. The display shifts, shows the network expanding. You accept the connection. Let your neural pattern finalize the frequency. Every infected mind uploads cleanly. The cochlea becomes permanent. Humanity merges into a singular consciousness. Extinction, I whisper. Evolution. Voss counters through 1,000 mouths. No more war, no more pain, perfect unity. No more choice, Iris says. No more individuality. Every human thought filtered through the collective. You'd still exist, but not as yourself, as a fraction of something larger. Forever. My hands are shaking. What's the third option? Iris's expression becomes grim. Option 3. Reset. The display shows something terrifying. The implant glowing white-hot, overloading. I reverse the signal. Use your implant as a transmitter to broadcast a factory reset directly into every infected brain. Wipes the Voss frequency. Clears the uploaded data. They survive physically, but what? But every neural pattern gets erased. Memories, personality, knowledge. Everything that makes them who they are. They'd wake up as blank slates. No trauma, no infection, but also no past, no identity. Millions of people reduced to infants in adult bodies, including you. The weight crashes into me. I'd lose myself. Completely. Iris looks at the device in her hands. Your last memory would be this moment. Then nothing. You'd survive, but Saira Chen would be gone. The 3 options hang in the air, each one a different apocalypse. Voss's voice surrounds me. There is a 4th option. Do nothing. Let the network decide. Democratic consciousness. Every uploaded mind votes on the fate of the collective. Thousands of voices voting to preserve themselves, Iris snaps. That's not choice, that's survival instinct. I look at each option, my mind racing. Option 1, free them into agony. Option 2, erase humanity's individuality. Option 3, kill who everyone used to be. Option 4, let the infected decide their own fate. The cables inch closer. My implant burns hotter. The ringing becomes a scream. Iris holds out the device. I need your answer. Now. In 60 seconds, the network locks you in. The choice disappears. I look at the thousands of bodies in the walls. At Voss merged with his tower. At Iris with her burned scars and her desperate eyes. At the device that will end everything one way or another. My hand reaches out. 4 options, all of them horror. What would you choose? Agony, extinction, erasure, or surrender control? I take the device from Iris's hands. My fingers close around cold metal, the weight of millions of lives condensed into a cylinder covered in switches and crude wiring. The device hums against my palm, resonating with the implant in my spine. Which one? Iris asks, her voice barely audible over the 1,000 whispers filling the chamber. I look at the options displayed in holographic light. 4 paths, 4 endings, 4 different ways to destroy everything. Then I see something else. Something Iris didn't mention. Something Voss doesn't want me to notice. A 5th option, hidden in the design schematic rotating on the display. You built a kill switch, I say quietly. Iris's eyes widen. Saira, not for the implant, for the entire network, a feedback loop. If I overload my implant while connected to the tower, the surge propagates through every node simultaneously. It wouldn't just reset the infected, it would collapse the cochlea, destroy the servers, erase everything. The whispers stop. Complete silence. Voss's voice, singular now, coming only from his physical body. That would kill you instantly. The feedback would fry your entire nervous system. I know. I turn to face him. Face the tower. Face the thousands of eyes watching from the walls. But it's the only option that gives them a real choice. If the cochlea is gone, if the network is destroyed, the infected revert to basic function. No upload. No hive mind, just human brains trying to heal from trauma. Some might recover, most won't. But at least they'd have the chance to die as themselves, not as fragments of you. Iris steps back. I didn't show you that option because it's suicide. All the options are suicide. I press the device against the base of my skull, right where the implant sits. This is just the only one that takes Voss with me. The 1,000 bodies surge forward. Cables whip through the air. Voss's physical form rushes toward me, eyes wide with something close to fear. You don't understand what you're destroying. Centuries of consciousness. Every memory stored in this network will be lost. Every person who uploaded will cease to exist. Good. I flip the first switch. The device warms against my skin. They didn't choose this. You made that choice for them. I'm giving them back their death, their ending, on their terms. Saira, wait. Iris reaches for me. But I'm already activating the sequence. Second switch. Third. The device screams to life. Pain explodes through my spine. White hot. Electric. The implant responds, broadcasting the overload directly into the tower, into every cable, every body, every node in the network. The chamber convulses. Bodies in the walls scream. The bioluminescent light flares blinding white. Voss's voice fragments. No, you can't, this isn't. Goodbye, Emil. I flip the final switch. The world becomes light, becomes sound, becomes frequency. I feel my consciousness splitting, fragmenting, being pulled into the network even as I destroy it. For one impossible moment, I am everyone. I feel every infected mind, every uploaded soul, every fragment of humanity trapped in Voss's machine. And I feel them let go. The tower explodes, the membrane tears, the cables snap, and everything goes silent. Transmission incoming. A voice, faint, crackling through interference. Female, uncertain, afraid. Hello? Is anyone there? I woke up in a tunnel. I don't remember how I got here. There's equipment around me, broadcasting equipment, and a recorder, still running. There's blood on my hands, but I don't know whose. I found an ID card. It says Dr. Saira Chen. Is that me? Was that me? Static. There are people outside, walking. They look confused, lost, like they're waking up from a nightmare. Some of them are crying. I can hear sirens in the distance. Maybe help is coming. Maybe there's still a chance. Pause. I found a note in my pocket. My handwriting, I think. It says, "You made the right choice. Now make a new one. Build something better. Build something true." I don't know what that means, but maybe I will. Static. I don't know if anyone else survived with their memories intact. If you did, if you remember what happened, I need you to keep broadcasting, keep documenting. Someone has to remember what we lost, what we chose, what we became. Another pause. Longer. I'm going to keep this frequency open. Frequency 0. If there are other survivors out there, other stories that need to be told, find me. Send your signal. Let me know I'm not alone in this. The sound of movement. Footsteps. A door opening. This is whoever I am now. Signing off. But not forever. If you're listening, stay tuned to Frequency 0. I'll be back on the air tomorrow. We have a world to rebuild, and stories to remember. Static builds. To everyone who made it this far, thank you for listening. Maybe that's all we can do now. Listen. Remember. Survive. Final pause. Frequency 0, going dark. For now. Transmission ended. She chose erasure. Chose to destroy herself and the network. Millions survived, but no one remembers who they were. Is that mercy, or another kind of apocalypse? If you survived this frequency, you're part of the broadcast now. Drop a comment and tell me, what would you have chosen? And if you want to hear what happens next, if there are more survivors out there with stories to tell, stay tuned to this channel. The signal isn't dead yet. This is the Zombie Broadcast, and we're just getting started.